Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. It's the 13th of April 2022. Today I have a bunch of headlines for you, and after that I'm going to do a brief technical analysis of Nasdaq, WIX, our cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin, and gold. And after that we'll be looking at the Genomic shares in our watch list once the market opens, and we'll try to see if we can estimate any price actions that can happen today that we can take advantage of. Having said that, let's get started. The very first headline I have is that Twitter investors sue Elon Musk for failing to promptly disclose the size of his stake. And the background of this is, as per the law, Elon Musk, who started buying Twitter stock in January, allegedly hit his milestone on March 14th, at which he had a cutoff level of holdings in Twitter that required him to have informed SEC by March 24th of his holdings. And he didn't do that. And as a result, SEC couldn't inform the general public. So some of the shareholders are of the opinion that because of this, they lost out on some profitable trades that they could have executed if they had known the information in time. That's what this is all about. This is once again Elon Musk not following rules and just playing willy-nilly with whatever. This kind of a thing has got to stop. We need terms of engagement in the market so that retail investors can reliably participate, knowing that they're not going to be exploited or cheated. So this kind of behavior needs to stop, in my opinion. But all the billionaires who got so much of money, they feel that they can bend the rules, and many get away with it. Let's hope for the best. The next headline I have for you is Turkey's brutal inflation. So I wouldn't call it brutal inflation. I would have put it as hyperinflation, because Turkey's CPI data for food and non-alcoholic beverages showed a rise of 70.3 year over year for March. That means last March, whatever the price was, today it is 70% more. And that qualifies to be hyperinflation and not just brutal inflation. This is terrible. And at the core of all of this is Erdogan's goal of having lowest or zero interest rate in Turkey. He believes that higher interest rate is causing burden on people, and that should not be there. And also his own Islamist party likes this approach because according to Islamic religion, interest is considered sin. So typically Islamic banking doesn't have interest rates. So in a way, Erdogan's logic is grounded on more of a religious approach as compared to traditional economic approach, where interest rates are used to control inflation. So what he's doing is exactly the opposite of what is prescribed for inflation according to modern economics. We'll wait and see what happens, whether we get a utopia in Turkey or whether modern economics is proved to be right. Time will only tell. But till then, the Turkish people are going to have to bear heavy inflation and reduced standard of living and quality of life. Now, let's look at the next headline. US wholesale inflation in March jumped 1.4% on the month as against expected 1.1%, 0.3% extra US wholesale inflation. And this is probably the highest in record so far when you look at it cumulatively. And so US is also not in any great position, and the interest rates needs to keep on increasing to control this, assuming the inflation was caused traditionally. However, the complicating factor here, according to me, is that the inflation in US is predominantly composed of supply chain disruptions, and therefore supply chain, when it comes back to normal, is going to automatically reduce the inflation. So one of the concepts that I would like to highlight is that instead of raising interest rates, if the Fed just goes about tightening and reducing its balance sheet, that itself should have a very good impact on the entire market, and it would also allow companies to continue with their work, and it would not put much of a pressure on the exchange rate, thereby causing unemployment and leading towards recession. This is just my 2 cents, and I'm not an economist, but I think balance sheet tightening would be a much better approach than raising interest rate in a rapid clip. we'll see what the Fed does and what happens going forward. The Mortgage Bankers Association expects overall mortgage originations to be 2.58 trillion this year versus original estimate of 2.61 trillion. So they have dropped the estimate because there is lesser demand due to increased interest rates. And this will represent a 35.5% decline as compared to 2001. So that's a significant decline. So this means that US housing market is going to be very bearish this year, less sales and more inventory in the market, and longer time for houses to go off the market, either as part of sales or as being taken away from the market because there is no buyer. So those kind of things are likely to happen. They will not be uniform across the place. There are some markets which are going to suffer more than the others. There's also another headline which is not mentioned here, but it came yesterday after I published my update. It talks about New York City buyers coming back to New York, which means that the COVID-related migration has reversed. So that's going to impact all those markets where New York buyers had gone to buy. They were typically suburban and low-cost markets. So with that, let's look at the next headline, which is relevant to CRISPR. CRISPR Therapeutics board proposes new appointment to the board of directors. So they have invited on board Maria Fardis, PhD MBA, and in the next annual general meeting, they'll be proposing her a candidature for the board of directors. And they're recommending that shareholders elect her because she brings with her a lot of experience on upscaling startups in biotechnology, and her experience would be more valuable for CRISPR. I put the link for this article on the description. You can check it out in detail. And that's what I have with regard to CRISPR. And in terms of Russia-Ukraine news, it's getting worse. Russia is saying that the world can't ignore Russia and sideline them, whereas Biden is saying that Russia has committed genocide. So things are not looking good at this point of time, and the attack is still ongoing. So we'll wait and watch what happens in this angle. But the risk that it poses is affecting the market right now as we speak. With that, let's go and take a quick look at Nasdaq, cryptocurrencies, gold, and everything else. Let's start with US oil, and because the market has already opened, it's 9:37 a.m. So instead of crypto, we'll start with US oil first. US oil is up 1.56%, and as you can see, this diagonal line of resistance has been broken. So this was anyway a bullish pennant, and we wished against wish that it would come down. It didn't, and true to textbook, it has gone up. And you can also see that the MACD has inched much closer to the signal line, and momentum is above average and pointing up. So oil price is likely to go up further today, especially with the Russia-Ukraine conflict gathering much more steam. And if we look at VIX, this is the real-time VIX. Our latest candle today is this green candle. It's green because it started low and it went up. And we still have support from the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving average. MACD is bullish. However, the momentum is above average but pointed downwards. That is the only redeeming feature. VIX, even though it's dropped today to 2.55, we opened lower and we went up. That's the reason why the candle is green. So please do not be confused that we have got a red number out here and the candle is green. The candle is always green when you start low and start moving up. When you start high and start moving down, the candle is always red. There is a good chance that the candle might become red today, but it all depends on oil and the overall risks. Right now, we are not moving in the right direction. However, when we look at Nasdaq, there is a marginal gain for Nasdaq, but well within the shadow of yesterday's red candle. Our MACD is bearish and moving away from the signal line. Momentum is below average and flat. So right now, the signals are quite mixed with a bearish tone. It's got a bearish tone because overall we don't have any good news anywhere, and the Russia-Ukraine crisis has failed to produce any positive catalyst. So right now everything is looking bearish. So with that, let's go and have a quick look at our crypto sector. Bitcoin is up 1.39%, and it is very, very carefully straddling this line of support that we had drawn, connecting all the higher lows that we had in the past. So it is still respecting that, but I don't think it's going to last for too long because our MACD is absolutely bearish and moving away from the signal line. However, momentum is trying to pick up. It's below average, but trying to pick up. I'm doubtful whether we can retain this green in Bitcoin till the end of the day. So that's where my mind is at. And when we look at gold, gold is steadily picking up, and today it's inching towards challenging the horizontal resistance at 1984.00. And MACD is absolutely bullish and moving away from the signal line. Momentum is above average and pushing up. Given that gold is picking up, I think that there's going to be more pressure on Nasdaq today, and we might probably end Nasdaq red unless some really positive catalyst comes out. I don't see much gain for Nasdaq today. With that, let's go and have a look at our biotech sector. So here we are with the biotech sector. On my right side panel, you can see I have sorted it out according to the biggest gainer. The biggest gainer today is DNA and Ginkgo Bioworks, and we have bullish MACD, and we have momentum below average but pointed upwards. So it's got a gain of 13 cents. That is $3.77. 3.77% today. That's already been reflected in the indicators out here. Going forward, it seems like there is going to be a bullish push in DNA today. And we have a resistance from the 9-day exponential moving average, which is most likely to be overcome. But I think that it will be difficult to go past the 20-day exponential moving average of 3.67. So we might probably stop short of 3.67 by the end of the day today when it comes to DNA. If it does better, we are very happy for it, but that's what it looks like. VERV is up 2.90% with the 9-day exponential moving average being the next resistance. MACD is bearish but moving towards the signal line. Momentum is below average but pointed upwards. So there is a positive bias for VERV today, but there's a lot of work to be done before VERV can pick up much. The fact that VERV has been beaten up a lot is probably giving it this kind of a gain so far. Let us go to the one-day chart and see what is happening with VERV. And in the one-day chart, we can see that the MACD is bullish but tending towards the signal line, and momentum is very high, but RSI is almost close to overbought. So there is a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 cents worth of gain remaining to be had before RSI becomes overbought. After that, there is going to be a bit of moderation or giving way for some of the gains. So we'll end the day positive for VERV, but it won't be 55 cents. It may probably be in the region of 15 or 20 cents. That is my estimate. Editas is up 3.41%, and right now we are above the support of 18.20, which is this horizontal line that you see here, horizontal green line. We are being constrained by the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving average simultaneously, so it's a very strong resistance. MACD is bearish, but it's moving towards the signal line. Momentum is just about average and picking up. So Editas may remain positive for the day, but it will not end with the gain of around 56 cents, but more in the tune of maybe 15 cents positive by the end of the day. Bluebird is up 2.71%. MACD is bullish, but almost ready to cross over the signal line. And when I look at the momentum, that's where there's a good promise because it's below average, but moving upwards and rapidly picking up. So the momentum might potentially take us to challenge the 9-day exponential moving average, which is at 4.71, but I don't see us crossing 4.71 today. So the positive gains for Bluebird are very slim. And if the market turns bearish, because gold is indicating a bearish turn for the market, then I would think that we might lose the gains that we have for Bluebird out here and end flat. CRISPR Therapeutics is up 2.18%, and we have our resistance at 66.36, which is this horizontal red line. That's going to give us a challenge today. MACD is bearish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is above average and picking up. So that's helping CRISPR Therapeutics. And I expect CRISPR Therapeutics to close the day positive and potentially convert the resistance at 66.36 into support. But it's going to be a difficult challenge if the market turns bearish. based on oil prices and the Ukraine crisis and the way the VIX is positioned right now. So with that, if I was to make a call, I think CRISPR would end the day flat or positive. Teladoc is up 1.65%. So right now today we are going to challenge this diagonal line of resistance, which has followed us all the way from 16th of February 2021. It's a very, very strong resistance. Right now Teladoc is up 1.53%. MACD is bearish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is below average but picking up. So it's going to be a big challenge for us to cross this diagonal red line. I'm just going to magnify this and I'll show you that we have already hit that and come back down, because along with that you have the resistance from the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving average as well. So if we were to end the day with around 68.3, that would be a very good achievement for Teladoc. But right now I see Teladoc closing somewhere in the $67 range by the end of the day. ARCG is up 1.28%. Our next resistance is at 44.39, which is this horizontal line. We also have the 9-day exponential average, which is causing a resistance for us out there. So it's a very strong resistance. MACD is bearish and tending towards the signal line, which is kind of borderline bullish. But the momentum is below average. So if ARCG retains its positives today, I would be happy. It may close the day flat or maybe a gain of around 20 cents by the end of the day. Intelia is up 1.60. It's got support at 60.88, which is this horizontal green line. And the MACD is bearish and tending towards the signal line, which is a bullish aspect. But the momentum is below average and flat. So Intelia might end the day flat or with a marginal gain of maybe 10 cents. Vertex is up 1.22%. And if you zoom out, you can see it's like kind of a ladle or a scallop. And it's been absolutely bearish on a tear. So it's moderating a bit because the MACD is overbought. The RSI is overbought and momentum is absolutely bearish. Vertex is doing great. It will retain its positives today, maybe a positive of $1 or so by the end of the day, because it's got to give some gains. And we still have really strong support from our diagonal line of support, which has been with us for the longest time, all the way since 30th of November 2021. Vertex is doing great. Vertex shareholders are enjoying right now. Pfizer is up 0.35%, that's around 19 cents. We are still firmly within this diagonal line of support. So I'm going to push this line of support upwards so that we have got at least 3 touch points. And this is the line that we are respecting. And we also have a support at 52.48, which is this horizontal green line that we see out here. And MACD is bullish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is above average, but pointed downwards. So Pfizer will probably end the day flat and still stay above this diagonal line of support. That's my opinion. Allogene is up 1.41%, still has resistance from 9-day and 20-day exponential moving average. And we have a MACD which is bearish and moving away from the signal line. And we have a momentum which is below average, but just about picking up. So Allogene is likely to end up flat today. We have Regeneron, which is up 0.80%, and we have this strong line of support from somewhere around 4th of March 2022, which is a very steep bullish support line. I would like that to moderate a little bit, so I wouldn't put it past the price action to go below this, but that's not happening today because we have support from the 9-day exponential moving average at 713.59. So overall, Regeneron will end the day positive, but maybe with just a gain of around $2 or something by the end of the day today. Abbvie, which is our generic ETF that we have taken to give us a broad guideline on where the market is at, is showing a gain of 1.17%. And it is still above this diagonal line of support we have here. And this diagonal line of support is a weak support, basically because it has got just one touch point where it is bounced back. So we need at least 3 touch points. So we'll watch and see what's happening. Today we have crossed the 20-day exponential moving average and converted that into a support. The 20-day exponential moving average was sitting at 130.45. We have also crossed the 50-day exponential moving average, which stands at 130.92. We just momentarily caused it and came back. So I'm confident that we'll cross the 50-day exponential moving average and convert that into a support. What I am not confident of is our ability to cross the 9-day exponential moving average, which sits at 131.30, and it's giving us biggest resistance today. Our MACD is turned bearish, and it's moving away from the signal line, but the momentum is above average and picking up. So overall, the market is showing a bullish to neutral kind of vibe. So I would say that most of our genomic stocks are either likely to end the day flat or slightly positive, and the ones which are already negative are going to end red. So that's my call overall based on Abbvie. Beam Therapeutics is up 1.22%, and we are firmly within our bearish channel out here. I'm going to pull this bearish channel and elongate it so that we can have its projection forward. Today the MACD is bearish and tending towards the signal line. Momentum is below average but just about picking up. So I think that Beam Therapeutics is likely to end the day flat or maybe with a gain of around 25 to 30 cents. Novartis is up 0.17%. We are firmly within our triangle. This is a bullish pennant. We are firmly within this, and it's on an ascending price action. Therefore, this breakout is definitely going to be upwards. But for today, we are having just a marginal gain of 0.18%. And if I was to zoom in, we'll try and zoom in into the price action out here. You will see a very, very small green candle up here. This is today's price action. It's an inverted hammer, and the bulls are trying their level best to stay above the support of 92.79, but the bears are pushing it down. The MACD is absolutely bullish, but tending towards the signal line. The momentum, which was overbought, is just about entering the civilization zone between 70 and 30%. So I would look forward to Novartis losing gains today. It will probably end up negative, maybe 5 cents or something in that order, because the overbought position in the RSI has to cool, and that's what we are seeing happening here right now. But overall, Novartis is in a very strong position. I wouldn't worry too much about it. We have Illumina down 0.46%. MACD is bearish and moving away from the signal line, and momentum is below average and pointed down. So Illumina is going to lose more today, probably end the day with a negative of minus 1.5%. When next we go to Caribou Biosciences, which is down 0.6%. Absolutely bearish MACD and absolutely bearish momentum. So Caribou Biosciences is likely to lose more today and probably end up the day negative, maybe 20 cents or so. IMTX is down minus 0.33%, and our support is at 8.80, and I think we are going to test the support today. Right now we are at 8.94. We are likely to lose more today, and there is a risk that we may convert 8.80 into a resistance. So we'll have to wait and watch what happens with that. Right now, we are already converted the 9-day exponential moving average into a resistance. Our MACD is bullish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is telling the story. It's pointing downwards and trying to go below average. So IMTX is going to lose more today. PSEB is down minus 1.02%, and MACD is bearish and momentum is bearish. It's going to lose more today, probably another 4 to 5 cents, and end the day negative minus 0.12 cents. That's all I have for you today. If you like this video, please press a like there so that YouTube can show it to more people and they can discover our channel. If you're not subscribed, why not? Please subscribe and become a member of our community for everything CRISPR. And with that, I would like to end my session. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye for now.